Hi, welcome to There Is No Fiction. And today we're going to look at The Secret of Santa Vittoria. And I had done a blog on this for the followers of the way, but I was watching it and, I had this light bulb moment. So I'm going to aim it towards that. So this movie is a great movie. It has an all-star cast. Anthony Quinn and Anna Mangione and Verna Lisi, and it's a beautiful, wonderful movie. It's one of Anthony Quinn's best movies, I believe, and he plays the character Bombolini, and his wife, played by Anna Mangione, is Rosa. And when you first watch this movie, you think it's about Bombolini. And it is. But I have discovered when I started looking at things subjectively and going back and looking at these things subjectively, that 9 times out of 10, the main character, it's not their story. It's some other character in the story whose wish is coming true. So in this movie, this is actually about Rosa Bombolini and how she wanted something and wished for something and felt like she had it, and year after year it wasn't happening because she kept seeing the objective side. And everybody in this movie is about, they're seeing life objectively, but you watching it subjectively can see how the laws were unfolding this. And so she fell in love with Bombolini. She'd have no other man in her bed. Thank you very much. And he's the one.
I fell in love with him at once without even thinking. Only because he was handsome, strong, happy, with his big, beautiful hands. And he smiled like an ovation. I told my parents I want that man in my bed.
And they get married, and then she spends the next 16 years of her life, wishing he was better than that and believing he would be better than that, and imagining he would be better than that. But during the day, her mental diet was, he's a drunk, he's a clown, he's a fool, So this points out, pardon me, what Neville would say is, you can imagine it, but if your mental diet is the opposite, the mental diet rules over what you imagined. So it's really showing you the power of mental diets, but it's also showing you the law of liberty. And what I mean by, it's going to come regardless unless you forbid it. So she's had 16 years of him being drunk, believing this and believing that, and and she finally has had it, and she's not going to let anyone else, especially him, rule her life anymore. And she has, thrown it off. She hasn't thrown off objective man, but she has stood up for herself and said, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. Check it out.
Javier will save him, Mama. You'll see. Impossible. The old fool will kill himself, that's all. Mama. Ah, maybe for once it's finished. I have no more tears left for that man. I cried my guts out the day put up all that nonsense. Up with Mussolini, down with Mussolini. Yes, no, yes, no. He's been doing it for 16 years. He wanted to be so much, he would go so far, he would rise so high in the world. Well, take a look. He's arrived. That clown is 100 feet above the rest of us. Drunk as always, hanging by 1 foot from paradise. He's finished. And I, your mother, Rosa Casamassima, to my shame, Bombolini, I tell you that I don't care. I don't care. I just don't care.
So when you're watching this and you're seeing it subjectively, that is the moment that she let go, that she dropped it. She's had enough. She doesn't care anymore. She's tired of it. I'm done. And she used this very, very strong emotion to shoot that rocket out. And she's now told imagination, I'm done. I don't care anymore. So everything up to this point has been being made, has been gathering together to bring her her wish. You know, even Mussolini and the rise of fascism and all of it is played a part in her story. And you learn throughout the movie that how everybody hates each other. The one thing they all love is their grapes and their wine, and they will gather together and hold hands together and put aside all differences for the love of their wine. And they feel like that's their God-given right to make, grow grapes and make wine. So, and that's because that's what they love to do. And everybody in the town makes a living in some way, shape, or form from the wine. So it follows Bombolini. And the interesting thing is, she's now released her dream. She's told you her dream. I'm done. This is over. And then suddenly things really begin to change. And he begins to change. He begins to think about himself. He's been released. She doesn't care anymore. If he turns into some great man, great, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't care. So it's you can see in the movie how it unfolds, how he begins to change, how he becomes the man of her dreams. And even the Nazis play a role in making that happen, and that there's a dark side to it, and there's, the funny side to it. So one of the greatest uh, things about this movie is you see the players come together to make Bombolini, you know, be successful in Rosa's eyes and be the man that she always wanted him to be. And one of his messengers brings him the book The Prince by Machiavelli. And in the movie, as you watch it, he doesn't snap to the sarcasm of Machiavelli. He takes it quite literally, thank you, and he will be the king, the mayor. And he does, and he doesn't see the ugly part of that book. He only sees the good side of that book. So he's reading it. He's like, okay, bring all the families together, and we'll all give them titles, and we'll all share in this all together, and then, we all have to get along that way. And he begins to do that, and he begins getting the town involved and, you know, taking over since the fascists have been thrown out. But then here comes the monster, and he comes in the form of a group of Nazis who, as the Nazis fell back, they were taking everything of any value and sending it back to Germany. And uh, his messenger comes and says, the Nazis are coming. And he's like, yeah, yeah, there's nothing here for them. And he goes, yeah, except the wine. Ah, oh my God. And he raises up another level. He's scared. He's scared somebody's going to hurt the wine and he won't be able to find a way to protect the wine. But he knows he will. Deep down inside, he knows he will. And he does. And he comes up with the idea, but he has to hear it from somebody else that that's actually a good idea, because that's how afraid he is. And we do that all the time. You know, yeah. You told me how to bake that bread, but after I watched Paul Hollywood do it, and that's okay. Somebody else helped make you snap on how you could make it happen. So let's take a look at that.
Come in, Bombolini.
Thank you. Thank you. Have you heard about our terrible crisis?
Give your wine to the Germans. By the time they drink it up, the war will be over.
Contessa, without our wine, we are nothing. Tufa, you understand that. You worked on the vine since you were this high, like the rest of us. Excuse me. I thought maybe you might have an idea.
There's only one place in Santa Vittoria where it's mathematically possible to hide 1 million bottles.
Mathematically? Oh, if I only had a mind like his, mathematically.
Take the wine out of the cooperative and put it down in the old Roman cave.
That's a wonderful idea, except we already thought of it, so maybe it's not such a wonderful idea. Because if we thought of the Roman cave and you thought of the Roman cave, so will the Germans think of the Roman cave.
You can hide the wine in the Roman cave in such a way that all the Germans will see is an empty cave.
Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
But I haven't told you yet.
Doesn't matter. Prayers are never wasted.
He's great, isn't he? So they begin to implement this plan, and he has the right players with him to help him create this plan. And his wife has been watching all this going on, and she jumps in to help with everybody else. But she hasn't changed her mind really about Bombolini, and it's really amazing what they do. So to hide their wine, and they end up taking all the wine and hiding it in the Roman cave, just like Tusa told them. And what they end up doing is, putting bricks up and then painting the bricks with the wine so that the bricks are dry, and they soaked that wine up, and then they looked as dark as the rest of the cave. So when you looked, it just looks like an abandoned Roman cave. So you can see how divine love and imagination work together to bring all these players together, just so that Rosa could see her man become what she always truly believed he would be. And it did it in a magical, wonderful, natural way, wrapped up in their beliefs and what they were conscious of. And it was magnificent. So I hope you will watch it. I put the link down below. It is on YouTube. And I hope you enjoy it. It's a real gem. And it's a great way of seeing how all these laws work together to bring about the end imagined. That her sweetie loves her with all his heart, that he's a good man, a competent man, a successful man. He's a winner. And he's hers. Blessings to you, and thank you. Thank you for being you. I hope you enjoy.
What kind of people are you?